Australia, and that's not what they experience.
It's not what the pictures show either. He might have found one little picture, but all the others show exactly what we would expect.
Talk to people in Sydney and Perth and what's the northeastern part? There's another city up there. They go to the coast all the time. They all kinds of anomalies with the sun that happen in the south. As far as Tropic of Capricorn goes, it's the map again. Let me look it up. Wrong shit right now. There's so many different maps though. Well, you know what? Even with this argument of it, we do Path of Sun and Moon, boom, just like there was a image I showed earlier. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I'll just share it here. Sun, Moon, and Stars. It's just it's a diagram of the path of the Sun, Moon, and Stars. It's a very simple diagram. It's actually very complicated. I think it's one of my favorites. When I found it, that's why I saved it. Because it gives a cycle of the path of the sun and the moon in the different star constellations and the position of some. I mean, it really has a lot more to do with astrology than whether or not the sun and the moon rise or set where they are. I mean, and then you can look at the analemmas too, which don't necessarily line up depending on where you observe the analemma from as well. Did I have an analemma from Hong Kong? Here we go. I'm going to post that one right now. Hong Kong, China. Analemma. Viewed from Hong Kong. Oh, look at that. I mean, it's not from Australia, but not too far from Australia. A lot closer to Australia than I am. Oh, proof of globe Earth tilt. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Globemaster. You don't have any real physical evidence for globe Earth tilt. We have the analemma, and so you agree that is the analemma. I mean, I could put dozens of analemma pictures on here. Well, if you say equinox, are those two circles equal? I'll unmute him if he wants to talk. Hey, Globemaster, are those two circles equal? I mean, it's in a figure eight pattern, but it's not a perfect figure eight, right? Can you open your microphone and talk to us again? Oh, he jumped out.
No.
Maybe he'll come back. Bro, I mean, the analemma right there. Bro, what they claim about the heliocentric model with this analemma, friggin' way. That the tilt of the Earth, as it goes around the solar system, can cause this to happen when you make it, on a monthly progression, when you capture it through the sky. Insane. So yeah, I mean, do you have an answer for that, Globemaster? I mean, you could.
Yes, I have, but it doesn't seem to work. Do you hear me?
what doesn't seem to work. Actually, it does work because look, I just showed a picture of it.
Yeah,
You said
but you are not sure. Yeah,
you said it was due to the tilt of the Earth. Now,
yeah,
all right, and that's all. That's also what causes seasons, right? And we'll get into seasons later. But
yeah.
all right, so the reason that you see the analemma, and you'll see it on multiple. You could take it from anywhere as long as
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have it. You know, you're taking the picture every month from the same position. You'll see it. You'll see it, right? All right.
And
So
it will change. It's
why
not
is it
always the
smaller
same.
in the northern hemisphere and bigger in the southern hemisphere?
And the other way around?
No, I'm asking you. Why does it appear to be larger? This figure eight pattern. Why is it larger in the southern hemisphere than it is in the northern hemisphere? Or at least, like during, depending on where you take it from. If it's above
Mm-hmm.
the equator,
I
that's
understand your question.
well. Well, I mean, for the sake of everyone, some people might not understand why I'm asking this question. So let's just take baby steps here.
Yeah.
All right. So if the Earth were the third rock from the sun, we travel in an elliptical path around the sun in the solar system idea, right?
Yeah, I
But
like
we
to
have
call it a circle, not an elliptical circle.
really, so it's a complete circle.
No, it's not complete. But
So it's elliptical, isn't it? I mean,
do you understand what an ellipsoid is? It has 2 points on around which it turns. A circle has
are we
one.
talking about the same solar system?
Yeah.
Okay, then so it's a perfect circle, or is it elliptical?
It is elliptical, but the 2 points of the ellipse are both within the sun.
There are no 2 points of an
There are always 2 points of an ellipsoid. Yes.
Yeah, maybe the extent of both, right? Yeah, maybe because it's more of like an oval shape, but
Yeah.
it's not a
And,
perfect circle, right? So
and
yeah.
therefore,
There's
yeah.
the middle of the each extent, and then it comes back due to gravity and all that kind of stuff.
No. Forget that. Just think of the figure. You have a circle. You have one center, and now you move it away. Let's say you make it an ellipse. And that means you no longer have a central point around which it turns. There are 2 points that move along with you while you.
No. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh
You
my
might.
God.
No. Oh my God. Nothing, bro. We're talking about
Ellipse.
what I learned in 5th grade about the solar system. I mean, do you not understand what I'm saying? You said that the tilt of the Earth in angular relation to the sun while it's traveling through the solar system, that's what causes this analemma, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're the globemaster. You better. If you didn't know this, I learned this shit in fucking 5th
Shut
grade.
shouting at me, please. Come on. You don't understand an ellipse. That's the first problem we have together.
Really? I don't understand how an oval works. That's weird.
No, apparently not, because you have 2 focus points. Do you understand that
I think you're trying to obfuscate from the exact point that I'm talking about.
I'll go to the point. Then I'll go to the point. Really, I promise. Do you understand that the ellipse has 2 focal points?
All right. So with
the circle has 1.
Earth in the solar system, and the tilt related to its position where the sun is. We're third rock from the sun. It's approximately 93 million miles away. Sometimes it's closer depending on where we are in the solar system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, go ahead, continue. Tell me.
So, back to our ellipse. Do you understand that an ellipse has 2 focus points instead of 1 like a circle?
Well, a circle's not an ellipse, of course. Well,
No, a circle is the ellipse with only 1 focus point.
What?
Yeah. Sorry,
No,
you said
listen, a circle's
something.
Hold on. A circle's a circle. I'm trying to not get frustrated with you. Circle is a circle, and ellipse is an ellipse. Do you understand the difference between those two?
I do, but you don't.
All right.
Could you
Really? So a
Google
circle can a circle be an ellipse?
formally, mathematically, a circle is an ellipse with one focal point?
I mean, I kind of get what I smell what you're stepping in, but bro,
Okay.
you're just kind of making shit up at this point.
No, because you can Google it. And you can Google ellipse and then look at the drawings you see.
But
And
an
then
ellipse cannot be a perfect circle.
no, with the moment it is a perfect circle, we don't call it an ellipse anymore. But
No shit.
formally, and that's a word you don't seem to understand, you could say an ellipse.
Now it's formally right. You don't formally call it. What the fuck is this shit? Are you afraid of a perfect circle, man?
No.
What the hell? We all know what a perfect circle is. I mean, it's 360 degrees.
Yeah, I know that you know that, but do you know what an ellipse is?
Yes.
So do you understand it has two focal points?
Well, I mean, it depends on the situation. I mean, there could be two focal points on the shorter parts from each other or the longer parts from each other. Yes, it's essentially an oval. Yeah, I understand the shapes of certain, of an ellipse. Yeah, I definitely understand that.
So, if now the two focus points are both inside the object we call sun, then it is still an ellipse, but looking from afar,
You're not even talking about the same thing I'm talking about, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god, what? I mean, I'm just talking about according to the heliocentric model, the path of the Earth around the sun is not a perfect circle; it's an ellipse.
Yeah, it's not an ellipse the way you imagine it. The ellipse.
I don't imagine it anyway. I don't think that it even exists. I think the Earth is flat. So I'm just telling you.
You imagine the globe model the way you think we present it. And you have a picture with that, and you think,
dude, I can tell already you don't even understand how the heliocentrists present it. That's why I asked you these questions. It's very, very simple questions. You obviously don't understand it.
I think that if I would make a drawing on scale,
I don't care about your drawing. I'm just telling you. Do you understand what they say about the solar system?
If I would make a drawing of the ellipse of the Earth around the sun, and I would hold it like a meter away from you. All
right. Well, are you going to make it up yourself, or are you going to Google it and just tell it? Dude, I can Google it right now and tell you what NASA says about it. Every single astrophysicist, I can tell you exactly what they say about it.
I know what they say. The only thing they don't say is that the two focal points of the ellipse are both within the sun. Then you have to dig deeper, and you find out that is the case.
All right, what would I find out?
Real science.
Well, if I found it out, whatever's in your mind, because you're not making sense right now, what would I find out?
That you would find out that, first of all, the whole thing about ellipse is a bit exaggerated. Oh, here's a nice picture somebody comes up with. I see now. So it is more to a circle than an ellipse as you imagine an ellipse to be. That's one. But if you now imagine your flat Earth, and we look at the...
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we look at...
How do we suffer this, guys? I mean, this is insane.
No, don't do this, please. It's not nice.
No, because you're I don't even know what you're doing. You're not even talking about the same thing I'm talking about. So that's why I'm getting frustrated.
You don't grasp it.
Grasp what? You haven't said anything.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I agree with you. Yes, there's 2 points on an ellipse. You can measure them back and forth. It doesn't matter what 2 points on. If you're to have a perfect circle, you measure 2 points, from the circle, that's going to be the same distance. This is weird, man.
He has secret knowledge about the ellipse, which NASA doesn't know, and the scientists don't know.
This is the weirdest shit I've ever. It's not the weirdest shit I've ever heard anybody say, but this is pretty weird, man.
Somebody posted a nice picture here. Come on. Levelist did that. Do you see it? And Tim also did it.
No, I want Matthew to come in here and tell this dude that he's just like full of shit.
Who is Matthew? Oh, Tim? No,
Yeah,
not Tim.
he's our resident Globie. And he's gonna definitely back up what I just said. Anyway. Yeah, man. I mean, really, you're just not making any sense, Globemaster, bro. I mean,
I know that's the problem because you all think you're critical thinkers, and the moment we get to the edge of where critical thinking starts, you all back down, and it's a pity.
No. You don't get to do this idea.
What are you saying that requires critical thinking?
That we all do.
Yeah,
you do
you're
that the
full
whole
of
time.
34 people, and nobody can make sense of what you're saying. 34 people have been doing this for years. And
what is it that you're saying requires critical thinking? I don't even know what you're arguing for. I don't know why you're disagreeing with what he's saying. I don't even know what you're like defending.
We're not getting your idea, and then you'll quickly say, "Oh, well, that's not fair. That's not fair." You are demonstrating classical narcissistic behavior because what you're trying to
keep
prove.
Talking, and I'll stop talking, and you talk to someone else and see if they can kind of get what you're saying. I'm pretty sure they won't, but we'll see. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. This is...
I desire one as well, but I quit 6 years ago.
I haven't, so I'm going to go smoke one. And you talk to one of these other flat earthers because...
I go to bed. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning here.
Well, you're the one that's here past your bedtime if you choose to be here.
I know.
Nobody. This is a day that
I'm still waiting for Bondi Beach.
We'll debate with you all day, right? But you're presenting nonsensical ideas, right? And then you're quickly resorting to "don't you grasp it" as if you're attempting to browbeat us into seeing the way of things.
Kiwi.
Yes, my friend.
Somebody attacked me on the refraction of red light, and then they came up with a prism of solid glass. When you do twice breaking it, then you get a different result than when you do it in the atmosphere. Then I was called a liar. Now, with the I can't pronounce the name, analemina, where heliosceptic came with. I know the phenomena, but if the Earth was flat, wouldn't 12 o'clock noon not be always exactly the same point for the sun to be above a flat Earth? And would it not be a straight line?
I can see your point. But
that was always my point with this one. I couldn't understand that. Yeah.
Hold on. But the aspect of the pattern that we witness the sun move in, right? This figure 8 pattern, like we can't deny that, right? There's something happening. And again, I'm still of the opinion that the moon and the sun are refracted light creations themselves. I don't think that the moon and the sun are actual objects. But again, that's as it's polite. I was reminded, and it makes perfect sense. That's sky science or sky stuff.
Yeah, but if it is not an object, which could be,
well, have you looked at the? You talked about infrared. Have you measured the whole or done the whole sunlight experiment? Moonlight being cooler than the.
I have actually a camera that measures the heat, and the sun, when you aim the camera at it, it's like plus 180 degrees Celsius. Okay. The moon is not cool, and that has been debunked by so many people that I don't even want to go into.
There's a temperature difference between direct moonlight versus shaded moonlight. There's a temperature difference, right? Yes. Which gives proof to it being an illuminated essence versus an object projecting rays.
I find that very hard.
I've shown it on my channel. That there's a temperature difference between the light projected versus the shade of the moonlight.
Yeah, but do you understand where the heat of the object in the moonlight and the one in the shadowed, why do they cool down anyway? Do you have any idea?
Pardon me, say that again? Why you call them what?
So if I took two objects and I would put one in the moonlight,
yeah,
and one under a roof,
yeah,
like a carport or something like that.
A shaded area, yeah.
Yeah. Then we see that the one in the direct moonlight gets cooler.
Right.
Yeah, but it happens also when the moon is not there.
You can't measure direct moonlight if the moon is not there.
No, but I measure that it gets cooler. So there is no relation between the moon.
Because how can you measure to the same degree if the moon is not present?
Because
I know what he's saying, and I totally.
If the moon's removed as a constant, how can you measure?
I agree with him. I know what he's saying. He's saying that whatever is above creating the shade, the moonlight was present or not, you would still see the same temperature difference.
Mm-hmm.
In the shade, it would be warmer.
Yes.
Yeah, in the shade it is warmer. It's cool. I'm saying it's cooler in the direct moonlight because the moon is an illuminary essence.
It also happens.
The fact that he's stating is that it would be the same if there was no moonlight.
Right. And that's tested. And I know why it is, because above us, even if it is a dome or not, the temperature is so low that whatever is, let's say, directly under that low temperature will radiate its heat faster than when there is a roof or a shade above it, which will somehow radiate some warmth back to the object, and therefore it doesn't cool down as much as the one is totally in the open.
Okay, let's try this, because I still am of the opinion that when you measure direct moonlight, it is cooler than the light in the shade, so to speak.
Did I say that?
Or not direct. Okay, hold on. Let's park that for a quick second. Let's see if we can move parallel and talk about why I can read a book in the shadow or shade of a building versus getting tanned in direct sunlight. If is that a parallel? Is that a fair parallel to pull as another example?
Yeah, you can compare it to the sunlight. That's a good comparison.
Pardon me?
You can compare it to the sunlight. That's a good comparison.
Okay, so I can read a book in the shade, right? And yet I can stand in direct sunlight and get tanned as an example. So to me, it's the premise of the sun is present, or the sun is present, right? Mm-hmm. There's no rays projecting from it, because if there were rays projecting from the sun, then I would step in behind a building and I would not be able to read a book, because I'd be being blocked by the direct rays of the moon, or sorry, the sun, right? We agree with that. Is that correct?
No, that's not right. No.
How so? How do you explain off light then, or the off light that's created in the shade?
Because the sunlight reflects on all kinds of dust particles that are in the air.
So you're telling me that the environment, the ether, is filled with...
I wasn't even finished. Can you say what I was telling you? I wasn't even finished.
Well, I think sunlight and daylight are different. Direct sunlight and daylight are different type of lights.
They do different things, but I'm asking him to explain how it works.
It's Rayleigh scattering.
Scattering. So you're saying that what you're saying is, as I move from one part of the shadow to another part of the shadow, the light dissipates. Is that correct? It's not a constant.
Because it is scattering from the whole sky, your dome above you, it comes from all directions to you, but there is, of course, a huge difference between the direct light and the scattered light. But still, the scattered light is more than enough.
Let me see if I can remove that idea from your head for a moment, and let me present an idea to you. See if you can open this idea up. I present to you the firmament, which was created on day 2 by the good Lord. Okay? He created the firmament. I propose to you that is the lid to the petri dish that contains the ether, which are the gases in the environment, because we are in a closed system. Right? The sun activates the ether according to what it is exposed to, directly or indirectly. The moon works on the exact same premise, except in the total opposition. So in direct sunlight, it is warmer. In direct moonlight, it is cooler. In shaded moonlight, it is slightly warmer than in direct moonlight. And in direct sunlight, it is hotter than it is in shaded sunlight. That is my proposal to you.
Yeah. So what I do is I take a mobile phone, which is called the S61 from Caterpillar, the Cat S61.
Why are you flexing? Just get to your point.
No, it has a built-in infrared camera, which is accurate to 1/10 of a centigrade. And if I aim it to the moon, I measure that the moon is about 180 degrees centigrade.
I didn't ask you to measure the moon. I'm asking you to measure if you see a moonlight being casted in front of you, you measure that light that's directly in front of you. No, and I don't want to tell this direct shooting at you. Versus, I'm just asking you to you see a lit object in front of you by the moon. You measure that light in front of you, and then you move it a couple inches to the side, and you measure that same, except the shape is creating. That is a constant.
You are creating your own.
Hold on. That is a constant in an experiment. That is a variable that you can control. You have a controllable sample set. That's the purpose of how you conduct an experiment. You have to have constants in your experiment in order to establish a result. It's period. I don't care about anything else beyond.
Yeah, I know. You don't care. Therefore, you believe in the flat Earth. Yeah?
I know, and this is how you flip from arguing with you blue ball guys, because you guys do the same thing, right? You establish a point, you drop, and you run for the hills. I just did the same thing. I flipped it on you. Right?
What object did you measure with? What object?
Hold on. If I want to measure how hot the sun is, I will have to directly look at the sun. I cannot look at where the sun is reflecting on, because that might be only 50 degrees or 60 degrees Celsius. In a desert when it's very hot, 65 degrees Celsius. When I aim my camera at the sand. But
you're saying that you can measure the sun by looking at it?
With the right apparatus, you can, yes. When you build lamps or light bulbs, we talk
about. Since you have measured the sun, since you have done this, tell me how far the sun is and how big is it?
Hey, you can see that I'm a glober, so you know what I think it is.
How far is the sun? How far is
it? Depends on where we are on the ellipse.
All right, like right now, today, how far is the sun from us today, right now, at this moment?
I don't know, but it's probably around 149,000 kilometers.
Okay, and how big is it?
How big?
Yeah,
I think it's like
you say you measured the sun by looking
kilometers. So the radius would be 690 or a bit more kilometers. The mass is probably almost 2 times 10 to the power of 30 kilograms.
And you established this by
2,074 meters per second.
You established this by looking at it?
The surface temperature, I can establish that by looking at it, yes.
And the size and the distance?
That you can calculate is all very difficult and you won't understand. But do you know what the black...
Oh, yeah, I'm too dumb to understand that kind of stuff, right?
Sorry.
It's too complicated. You have to be very smart to get this, right?
You don't need to be very smart.
Yeah, you have to be very smart. Okay, yeah.
No, you guys change my words every 10 minutes. But do you know what a color temperature is? Hello. Do you know what a color temperature is? or you need to look it up, of course. No problem. Please do.
Not me. Not me. Go ahead. Tell us what it is.
Well, we used it in the company where I worked. They were one of the biggest light bulb manufacturers in the world, next to General Electric, I guess. So, the moment you take a black object and you start to heat it up, at one point it will start to turn red. Like, take a piece of iron at a blacksmith, you put it in the heat, and then you know what happens. It starts to turn red. When you make it hotter, it starts to turn yellow. And when you make it hotter and hotter and hotter, it will turn white. Now, the temperature of that object tells you what color it gives. So the other way around, you can look at the color and exactly say how hot it is. And that has been tested. And therefore, when you buy lamps, whether it's condensing light bulbs like we used to have, or LED lights we have today, you can have extra warm white, as they call it. That's 2,700 Kelvin as a temperature. But you can also have neutral white that goes between 3,000 and 4,000 Kelvin temperature. And you can have cold white, and that is above 4,000 Kelvin temperature. So, you see, that is a bit how it works. And that is how we, long time ago already, were able, by just looking at the sun, taking its color temperature, and say something about at least the outside of the sun, because that is where the light comes from. The temperatures inside is a different story. And now somebody is posting blue light, and yes, blue light is warm, but has nothing to do with color temperature. So I'm not trying to fool you here. It's just, every company that makes lamps talks about color temperature.
You mentioned the temperature inside the sun. How hot is inside of it? Like at the core, how hot is it?
I'm not quite sure. You have to ask the scientists. I'm not a scientist in this field.
Okay, so the scientists they verify this and they know how hot it is.
Yeah, I don't know how it is with you, but the fact that we are talking to each other is because we trust that the internet and the computer we have works, and it's totally built by scientists. So I'm one of those guys that likes to trust scientists because they do things that actually seem to work. My car works.
Yeah. We all trust science. Yeah. So can you give me the name and the method of the scientists that you mentioned in the measure the curvature of the Earth 8 inches per mile? Can you give me the name?
Don't ask me. Please don't ask me the road that you already know.
Wait, what? I'm trying to learn about who actually did this. So can you tell me?
I know it's some Arabic guy who did it in a very beautiful way.
Who?
I don't. Come on. Do I really need to look everything up? Do it yourself. Come on.
Okay. Was he of sane mind when he did said experiment? Who was it? Did anyone back check his work? What's the deal? Because we should have him back checked. We should have him fact checked. We need fact checking.
No, you don't, because you would not believe in the flat Earth if you did fact checking.
What do you mean?
Come on.
I don't need to do fact checking in order to believe in the flat Earth.
The first guy that proves that flat Earth gets a Nobel Prize.
Mama's womb, and I experienced absolutely no movement when that occurred.
Yeah, I heard you say that today earlier.
Yeah.
You have not flown that much, did you?
Pardon me?
You have not been flying around that much, did you?
I flew quite a bit when I was a child. And still, when I'm an older man, it makes no difference about personal experience. You don't need to posture in order to make a statement or paint a picture for me to understand your globe theory.
No, I think you are willingly deceiving us.
The reason why there's a flat Earth is because the globe doesn't pass the fact checking. That's why.
I don't understand.
There is no fact check on the globe. You have to trust NASA.
A stable plane doesn't need to be fact checked. That's the joke. I don't have to go to school to learn that I'm on a stable plateau.
Yes. Level is
No, but
probably.
That's the joke about it. Like you guys elected to learn a system that was created and taught.
No,
that's what you elected to choose to learn. We elected to do things like I elected to learn about architecture, straight lines and buildings and loads, and how those loads transpose from the roof down to the foundation. That's what. Hold on. I'm on my pedestal now. I can talk, right? Yeah. That's what I learned, and there was no curvature in the drawings that I create for people to get things done. So I can't understand building in a curve into a building that I do draw. It makes no sense. It seems to be counterintuitive and counterproductive. I can wrap my hand around that.
Okay, I really like that one. So
I'm glad you like it. There's more.
If I would build a hangar for
an airplane hangar, sure.
A big hangar, like 100 meters.
Hold on, I have an idea. Why don't you talk about the Pyongyang Bridge in China, which is like 100 miles long or something like that, and has a curve to it?
Because it is. Yeah, but that is your misunderstanding of globe and curve and gravity. But that doesn't matter. There is this bridge in New York.
Talk about the Pyongyang Bridge, globe guy.
No, I would like to go to a smaller bridge.
You said that the bridge in China shows curve and gravity.
It's like the same thing on that lake in near New Orleans, where you have this lake.
How does the bridge in China shows? How does the bridge in China shows gravity? And what do you mean by that?
Yeah, sorry. Let me try to find the bridge in New York. Oh damn! What was his name?
Why do you have to change the bridge? I just gave you
because
the
it is important. Because you mentioned
more suitable suits your curved earth argument. Why can't we stick the constant being the Pyongyang Bridge? It's the longest bridge in the world.
No, because it depends on the number of the distance between the pillars.
Narcissist globe guy. The argument doesn't work to your advantage. Therefore, you have to change the variable.
No, because you don't understand that bridge.
Bro, I understand plenty that you posture and step on people by stating they don't understand things, and that's what you science guys do.
No. Hold on, I'm not trying. Just New York Bridge. Hold on,
you're not trying. You're just doing it.
It's like you're inserting. What size foot do you? What size shoe do you have? You're probably in size 10, 11, maybe. I'm guessing maybe
12.
size 9. You've put them all up in your mouth, guy.
Hold on, please. I'm going to paste the name. Ctrl+C here.
I'm not looking at it because we're having a discussion. And if we were sitting at a chess table in the middle of a park without smartphones, we would be having a discussion, and you would not have any tools or anything to reference to for material.
That doesn't matter.
Discussion. You have to pull on these stories of fables of men that give you this stage that you can stand on to argue from, and it's pointless.
No, because I go back to my first remark. Go to Bondi Beach, where I was, and I saw the sunrise in the southeast, and it's impossible on the flat Earth. So don't do this, because I've been on more places on the world than you. Look up the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. And what you will find is that this little bridge...
Friend, I would like you...
He's saying we have the Earth has a curve.
On ego and what it can do to somebody. And when you have your reality based on your ego, how it can
no, I have no ego.
Totally change your perception of actually what it is. And this is why I said earlier that this is the Mandela effect.
Wait, good way to put it, Kiwi. Bro, basically, what was it, globemaster?
Yeah?
You basically told us live, you said, hey, I saw the sun in the sky doing something. Therefore, the image that I have in my mind of the flat Earth, for whatever that means in your mind, is not true. This imaginary thing that I have in my head is not true because I saw the sun doing something above my head.
Sorry, dude, you are making a fool of yourself. Kiwi, you said you were an architect?
Now the other guy, I never claimed that, but he is, or something.
No, Kiwi.
Go ahead, Kiwi.
Kiwi's muted.
Architecture, right here, man. Architecture.
Yeah, you did architecture.
And then better yet, anyways, I don't need to say all that. Go ahead, yeah, architecture, go ahead.
Okay. So the Verrazano Narrows Bridge is claimed to be built in such a way that it takes into account the curvature of the Earth. And you, if you really are what you said you are, you would understand.
No.
You can measure it.
You're attacking me by making a statement, right? Attacking my intelligence. And that's not going to work because I understand the ego and what you do by posturing. And what I'm going to say to you, hold on, what I'm going to say to you is, listen to me. Based on a 65-kilometer distance, Mr. Globe Guy, right? If I'm standing on one point and I go out 65 kilometers, I should be seeing a depression of approximately 600 to 800 feet. And when I'm standing on the skyline in Burlington, Ontario, looking at Lake Ontario, and I look downtown to the Toronto skyline, I can still see the sky dome, the white roof. And that roof is only 300 feet high. And that's a distance of 65 kilometers. Therefore, that entire roof line should be depressed based on a globe. And this is why I say, based on observation, you're selling bullshit, bro.
So, first of all, if you look at what you just mentioned, you would also notice, if you paid attention, that there is an entire airfield in between that is not visible. And that is strange, isn't it?
Okay, before we continue.
And then Central 2.0, it's not the shape of the bridge, because any suspension bridge is curved. That is not what I'm talking about. They took into account the curvature of the Earth by having the top of the bridge being a few meters further away than at the bottom.
You're talking about splay.
Sorry?
Do you know why they put the splay on those poles, my friend? They put the splay on those poles so that the cables would have tension on them, not for the curvature.
It's for the curvature.
Tension in the cables.
What the architects say themselves.
Oh, Lord, child. This is what it looks like to have an argument with me. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you can't observe something for what it is and you have a conclusion and you have to rationalize the conclusion that you're standing on. This is what it looks like.
It's easy to talk like that, yeah?
No, it is easy to talk like that when you understand what you're looking at, my friend. We've talked about the Pyongyang Bridge, which is the longest bridge in the world, and you haven't presented a valid argument. Hold on. You haven't presented an argument valid. You haven't presented a valid argument about the Pyongyang Bridge yet. You lily padded over to another bridge design and attempted to explain the splay on poles, which I will argue with you and say that is for the tension on the cables of the bridge so that the structure of the bridge is retained, right? And now I've said to you that the Earth is flat based on the sky dome being viewed from the Lake Ontario waterfront. I've just argued with you on 3 points and you've lily padded on 2 of them and yet to address the Toronto skyline, which you can't really do unless you want to go on Google and try to look it up because you don't sound like you're from here.
Your bridge is basically suffers the same problems as Lake Pontchartrain Causeway Bridge. And that bridge, if you go up with the drone, at one point you will see it curves along with the Earth. And I guess if you would go to your bridge, you would see
the cameras on the drone. Does the horizon stay parallel with the drone as it goes up, or does it bend? Does it
they
split?
brought up a camera even with the focus length of 50 millimeters, so that they would not have a how do you call that? now fisheye is even too much a wide angle. So it's not a wide angle. They took up and they also did it with a guy who is a surveyor and a guy who has a lot of...
there's another one. Registered professionals. We could talk about them all day, including pilots. Surveyors and pilots have no method of accounting for curvature and curve. My friend, I'm also going to throw in right now in the chat. Hold up. Right now in the chat, I'm putting in a link to the Bolivia salt flats. You should take a look at that and consider that in your round Earth approach. I just posted a link to the Bolivia salt flats. Sorry, apologize. I'm interrupting.
Where is it?
No, fine, Grace. Look behind the people. Do you see that factory that is processing the salt, which is in the middle of the lake? Where is the factory? And why do the clouds touch the ground? For me, this picture and many of those are the best proof of a globe. I think somewhere in one of my videos, I used that one. He's far gone. Race, why am I far gone? Simply because my understanding of the world is different?
No, because I said stop interrupting, Globemaster, because I had to repeatedly mute you when you interrupt people trying to make their point.
Okay.
But you thought I was saying, stop interrupting, Globemaster. Or, in other words, don't interrupt you when you're the guy interrupting everyone.
Yeah, I thought...
So can we all agree that since NASA has so much funding and we haven't been back to the moon in so many years, that the moon is fake?
No.
So why haven't we gone back to the moon, Globemaster?
We did.
When?
The Chinese, not so long ago, they landed on the other side. And the Israelis tried to, and they crashed their lander.
Yeah? Was there video footage?
I don't know. I never looked into it because I'm not interested in that. But I believe the Chinese have already sent some information around. And isn't there a one that is orbiting the moon and making pictures? So you actually can see the remains of the USA lunar landings? I think I've seen something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But, guys, in the end, I came here for Bondi Beach, and we're talking about all kinds of stuff, because everybody seems to be afraid of the sunset or the sunrise at Bondi Beach. I think I go to bed because I'm not going to get anywhere here.
Like Bondi Beach in Australia?
Yeah, right. If you look that up, you will see the sun rise in the south-southeast, maybe even southeast-south. And if you then look at the sunset,
when is this? Like during which month?
The best, of course, in December, when the sun turns around Sydney.
Yeah, I would also like you to name the person that fears the sunset in your images, because you made that unsubstantiated mischaracterization of people here based in your mind-reading fallacy. So,
no, you have been here. You have seen everybody. You have seen everybody and heard everybody deviate from me. You were there. Don't do this. I don't keep track because I'm not here to blame any person personally.
Just take accountability for the words you use and what you say.
No, my accountability is...
No, so you're just gonna say whatever and change your words afterwards, whatever fits the case. Okay, then I guess there's no reason to actually talk to you then, is there?
Oh, now this is a good excuse to block me again because...
No, I'm just asking you a question.
Don't get excited.
I'm not excited. I'm just trying to help you understand because you don't seem to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
I do indeed not understand them.
Why do you not answer then?
Because I don't understand them. Yeah, I try to be honest. Sorry. I'm not native English, so sometimes somebody needs to help me a bit.
Oh, does anybody want to bring up any topic to anybody else, or globemaster want to bring up any topic, or what do you guys want to try? Anybody want to ask any questions by any chance? Come on.
Yeah, it's a bit late now. It's already quarter to 3 in the morning for me. The existence of vacuum next to air pressure under the globe. Sorry, not under the dome, I mean. Oh, God.
So, well, what is your question?
Well, one of the arguments that the globe does not exist is because atmospheric pressure cannot exist next to vacuum.
But you're making a pre-assumption with the atmosphere, because you're saying that the air it's shaping around a sphere or atmosphere, and you haven't got that yet.
What
That's
did
a
I say? Sorry, what did I say?
Something about the atmosphere.
Ah, something. Now, see,
You're talking about the air. You're talking about
it goes wrong.
So what's up? You want to talk about pressure, right, or something? You're talking about the air, but there's no need to say sphere because you haven't measured the sphere yet. So what's up with the air? What are you trying to say about the air? What's happening with the air? Tell us in the globe or whatever.
One of the arguments against a globe. Do you get that? Am I clear so far?
One of the arguments against the globe
is that it is impossible to have atmospheric pressure next to a vacuum.
All right, expand.
Yeah, is that correct? That is one of the arguments they use. You flat Earth believing people.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact of the.
It's a fact. Yes. Okay. Oh, who said that? Who said it's a fact?
I said it's a fact.
That is demonstrable, observable phenomena and devices that you can build to demonstrate how pressurized systems and dynamics and isolated systems can do and work. So you can kind of verify that stuff. It's verifiable.
You did some of these tests yourself, of course.
Yeah, I do it every day. You know, when I boil water, I do cause the gas pressure.
You do what?
You know, when I boil water, or when I heat water, or when you apply electricity to water, you can kind of like, produce gases with the water. So you can do that as well. So you can.
That's to do with gas pressure next to a vacuum.
What happens to the gases if the gases are not contained? What happens to them? They equalize to the available medium.
Okay, so we have
second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah, so we have a dome.
Yeah.
We have a dome. How come in this dome I have a vacuum next to atmospheric pressure of 1 atmosphere?
We have a container and we don't know what it is. That you say in a dome. Now you're coming again with your own imagination of what this place. Listen. Now you're coming to. You can say containment. You can say this, but you put in a shape into something that you don't even know what it is exactly and how big it is. What is the mechanisms that make it what it is?
Yeah, I understand. But did God create the dome or not? To contain.
For what I know, to build a contained environment, we could learn some things from nature, but then we can design devices that can make it to the next level. You can build how do you call that? You could put these sealed containers that you could put plants and rocks and water, and they're sealed.
Terrarium.
Terrarium, a contained environment, and as long that you have that sealed environment with the right ingredients, and you also have an input from the outside, which is a light, and you have that, and then you have a dynamic system.
So, do we have an open system or a closed system?
It's a closed system, in between. But it's not. It's a closed system, but it's not isolated because you could energy can go in and out the system.
Okay.
Or that input and output that we can demonstrate on many other things.
So,
we don't. We don't exactly know. We don't know everything, but we do know is that you can't have air pressure next to a vacuum. That's it.
Yeah.
So the globe model's bunk.
Yeah, because your plane is.
Who said that?
Okay, but let's establish.
I know it's triggering you.
We cannot have
you can't
pressure next to a vacuum, you say?
Yeah.
No, the thing is that you're listen real quick. The thing is you're claiming, because I just wanna make my last point. You're saying that there is a space that is 0.0 to the 17 negative torr, right? It's negative 17 torr, and you're saying that system is next to a high pressure system. Yeah, and you're saying that very, very low pressure system is right next to the high pressure system, and the high pressure system is without the container. The high pressure system.
How about you let him talk?
If that amount of volume, of emptiness that you're claiming there is out there, if that amount will be available next to the high pressure system, the high pressure, the system will have to equalize to the volume.
Yes. Okay. So now I have this container above the flat Earth. I have at ground level, I have 1 atmosphere. And when I go, it gets less and less and less. And actually, above 20 kilometers, you could basically say from there on, it is a vacuum. But the container of our flat Earth, or your flat Earth, is at least maybe 10,000 kilometers high. That means that 99% of everything in your container is a vacuum. And only at the ground you have 1 atmospheric pressure. There you go. You basically show and you debunk with that argument. You show that the argument is not a valid argument to disprove of the globe, because the same happens in the flat Earth. And I have a video about that. I made a video about that.
Share. Hey, you're welcome to share whatever video you got. Definitely share it. Come on, share it.
Just
take it from there.
Yeah, just share what you have and stop talking out of your ass and stop rubbing your hands. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't talk about my ass.
This thing about disproving a globe, we don't have to do that because you haven't proven it.
Yeah.
It's also
good point.
He wants to conflate the pressure gradient with containment. What is the cause of the pressure gradient?
It's gravity, nothing else.
We just proved you wrong with that earlier, so you lost your cause.
Nobody ever disproved gravity.
You can't prove gravity. You have to prove gravity exists. You're using it as your reason. You cannot prove it exists.
I have proved it.
Where?
Hey.
No, first look at my vacuum video. We can't do everything at the same time.
Oh, also, let me correct that as well. It's not vacuum. We don't have any absolutes vacuum in nature. Nature abhors a vacuum. You have low pressure.
Right. The same goes for the globe. You are absolutely right. Yes.
So you were just wrong.
No, I was not wrong.
And there is, in your fantasy, a limit to that gas where it goes to almost 0 or 10 attopascals, which is a massive pressure differential, and you have an insane volume for all of that gas to press into. However, in reality, we have a pressure gradient because of Charles's law. As the gas goes up, it cools down and expands.
Yeah. And then there is less pressure.
Oh, sorry, contracts actually. I inverted that.
Yeah.
And because I converted it. Inverted it. When it contracts, there's less pressure. So you believe it's gravity holding the gas down to the surface. However, if that were correct, simply breathing on the surface of the earth would be impossible, because we breathe using this principle of higher pressure moving to low pressure, and it moves up against your imagined vector and container.
It does not.
It does not. You do not exhale while upright. Are you on your all fours right now?
No. Sorry, you're making not much sense. If I go up a hill, my car has a barometer, and it tells me that the air pressure gets lower.
Yeah, that's a pressure gradient that just taught you about.
Yeah. So the higher I go.
How about addressing my argument? Your imaginary container cannot contain gas at ground level, where it is imagined to be the strongest.
I have no imaginary container because I'm
Yes, you just told us about it. You told gravity was creating the pressure gradient and containing all of the gas.
Mm-hmm. But I don't need a container for that. I don't need a container for that.
You claim the gravity is the container because it's holding the pressure.
You just see gravity
here.
can't prove exists.
No, that is a misconception if that is the way you look at it.
Yes, the globe is a misconception, exactly.
The what?
In other words,
remember that globe. Remember that globe that you're claiming. Do you remember that globe that you're claiming? Gravity made that globe for you, right? So the antecedent for globe is gravity. So that's your claim because you're claiming globe.
Yeah. In other words, he has no evidence for any of the things he's claiming, and his counter argument, to ignore our argument, is actually not valid because he has no evidence for his begging the question.
Guys, really, you're almost silly. But so, what do you think about my video about faking?
So you want to change the subject again?
Yeah, why don't you address that point?
We are still on the same. Come on.
Wipe your nose. And then
I'm changing
Not you. Nope.
Guys,
why don't you answer his question? So where's your proof of gravity? Where is it? Oh, did he kvetch out?
He's trying really hard not to beg the question, and now he's just speechless. He can't even speak.
He must be under a lot of pressure.
A lot of gravity.
Well, there are 41 people listening to him.
He's understanding the gravity of the situation.
He's still listening through the YouTube chat. He's just a weaselly coward with the large nose.
Hey, let's not let our egos get a better of ourselves, you know?
Ego. I'm just speaking the truth.
Can we talk about that? What is ego? Can anybody expand on when you say ego? What do you mean by that, bro? Can you tell me, please?
Just trying to be like better than the other person. Like that's what I think it is, anyways.
Oh, we have a concern.
I'm trying to be better than like this other person next to me. That's why I'm trying to put him down. It's like ego, like
concern trolling. Yeah.
What does it mean to you, Jamsey?
I don't know. I just.
It's like what this whole globe and flat Earth debate.
When you say ego, you mean do you mean something that you have like in your body and it's causing you to do something? Ego. Oh, this ego.
It's
thing
more
right
like,
here that I'm holding in next to my pancreas. This thing is causing me to say something.
I'll help you define ego. Within psychoanalysis, the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. So, how can you tie that to what you were trying to tie to earlier?
Yeah, can you repeat anything that anybody said that is related to what you're claiming ego is for you? Please repeat that.
Like if you want me to repeat what I said, like I just said, well, ego is just for a person to, find a way to be better than the person next to them. Sort of like one upping the other person. You know what I mean?
That definition of ego is falling under someone here. That's why you brought up ego. So what that person said that caused your
Right. No, it's just you guys just talking over each other and stuff, like just not letting
Yeah, that happens, because I get you. It shouldn't happen because we have moderation and we probably should push it a little more. But there's a lot of people here and they want to talk, and you just gotta kind of self-govern each other. Somebody's talking, just allow that person to finish, and don't yell over each other trying to hold to the mic to the end or something. Just concede the mic whenever possible.
Yeah.
No, like I'm also trying to say that like this whole flat Earth and globe Earth debate is just to fire up everyone's egos, and that's like what the whole.
Well, that's your.
It's like a lot of words out.
It's your opinion. You're
that's
welcome
my
to
opinion.
it, but it has no relevance here or in this live stream.
It sounds like you're just stalling for time for that other guy to unbutthurt himself.
Hey, he just joined the server. He's kind of getting. We were talking to someone. He was listening, and this is the time he's been here. He's listened to what he listened to. So basically, the guy that was just here, he's been here for I don't know how many hours, and he's claiming that the experience that everybody's in here is having, like when you go to the Earth and you observe and experience, measure, and devise ways to do things that are based on foundations of this place. He's claiming the opposite of that. And some people pointed out to him here, and I guess he's muted now. Or he left, huh? He's claiming
Jamesy, can I go back to a couple minutes to what you said about, so we don't have to jump over each other. I mean, like if there's one guy in here that's a glober, they're trying to defend, even if he's making no sense at all. We should kind of deter. I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it sometimes.
Helio, glad that you hear that. I just want to kind of put in others' mind that, let's say, whenever someone wants to talk about a topic, if someone replies, allow that person to, let's say, do an exchange, a couple replies between each other, and whatever point someone
at least give them like a minute, right?
Whatever point someone is going to bring at that moment, try to bring it to a logical conclusion. Try to bring it towards that, whatever you're talking about.
Sure, it's like if there's a new guy jumps in and he's a glober,
whenever that person is done with that point, someone else can kind of like, I have a question for you, or answer or reply. Don't allow one person to have a few back and forward, and then the next person, right? Don't hug the mic like
even if at that point you've been talking to this guy, maybe he hasn't met the other guy that sort of tried to interject and he's like, hey, just give me a couple minutes, I got this. And then you say, after you finish your point, you say, hey, have you met this other moderator or glober or flat earther or whatever? They were trying to interject earlier. Why don't you just can you talk to them for a couple minutes? And then everyone just kind of hand off, basically. Instead of like 5 flat earthers screaming over each other.
Gotcha. My bad, Helio. Can you forgive me?
Dude, I'm guilty of it too, like I said.
Yeah,
it could be a better path to an open dialogue, even if there's like, because we always have like sometimes there's nobody in here, but then sometimes there's 50 people in here, and most of them are flat earthers. So we kind of have to respect the new people that find the server, and there's no reason for 20 people to jump on one.
Dummies, I give you VC verified.
Yeah,
I'm on mute now.
But anyway, just take a little bit of your time, and even if you want to, just ask. Say, hey, man, I appreciate what you just said to him. Can I interject? I mean, just be cordial. I'm not always. Like I said, I'm guilty of being a dick too, so it's not a big deal. So, I just wanted to put those 2 cents in there, or 2 pesos, however you want to price it. Because people do complain about that. Even on the flat Earth side, it's like, y'all motherfuckers, we can't even understand what you're saying. We're just trying to listen. And you get like 5 or 6 flat earthers just yelling at this one globey, No, that's all I'm saying.
I can handle it.
Yeah, but you can handle it, but it's not listenable. That's all I'm saying, because we're live streaming it. So it's people that are listening and are curious about flat Earth and globe, argument. It's unlistenable when there's 6 flat earthers yelling at you over each other. It's just not. It's not listenable. You can't. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go look at something else because these motherfuckers are obviously crazy. All I'm saying, and I love everyone that found the server, that supports the server, everything. And I don't have to give everybody bloviations, but this is, it's a popular server for a reason, but let's just treat it, with the respect it's due. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe what is your idea about when Galileo Galilei, he was brought to court and he had to defend his model?
On what depends on what you think about the story of Galileo. That's
we don't know if that guy's real.
Yeah.
So what was actually the thing he had to defend himself for? How do you guys see that?
Do you have an opinion about it that you could tell us so that we can kind of? Do you have a link for it or something that you could tell us?
Yeah. Well, all I found out is that actually for more than when was it? Let's say for more than 2,000 years, everybody.
How old was Galileo when he died, and when was he born?
I have to look it up. I don't have this.
I don't either. I don't know that shit either.
No, that's no problem.
I know the story. I mean, I can look it up. Hey, I can Google it.
Not a real problem.
I can get the story.
But the problem was, they wanted to convict him. In the end, they didn't do it, but he was not allowed to publish his heliocentric model because up to that time, for more than 2,000 years, we had a geocentric model, but it was still a globe. And only he came with the idea that it was not the sun going around the earth, but the earth going around the sun. And for that, he was brought to court.
Sure, and I roasted your ass on that with the with the analemma earlier, but we're not getting back into that because obviously you were totally ignorant about that. But so yeah, this story about Galileo. Here's what it says on Wikipedia. Galileo studied speed and velocity, gravity and free fall, the principle of relativity, inertia. They have all these links in Wikipedia, that are applied to other quote unquote scientists, and also worked in applied science, which is not actually a thing, when you actually look it up, because there's no link to that one. Applied science and technology, describing the properties of pendulums, hydrostatic balances. He invented the thermoscope. Maybe he did. I don't know. And various military compasses. and there were compasses before they were military. I don't know what that means. And used the telescope for scientific observations of celestial objects. Now you can't use a telescope to scientifically observe anything.
Whoa, that's a bold statement.
Yeah, that's pseudoscience. You don't just look in the sky and develop some science from it.
Because
I mean, what do you think Copernicus found when he made his telescope that just, what was it, 15 times zoom?
No, I don't think that Copernicus really was one of the inventors of the telescope.
Galileo.
No, also he wasn't that a Dutch guy, somebody from my country?
I mean, Galileo's first telescope like 15, 20 times zoom at the most, and it's not scientific at all.
And I don't understand that, why that is not scientific.
Because what is science? What do you think science is?
Well, that's anything that investigates stuff by all kinds of tests. And
you want me to give you the definition of science?
No, you don't need to.
See if you agree with me.
I think he needs to.
No, you don't.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You have no clue what my last job was.
No. Why are you making a joke? I'm freaking serious about this.
Yeah.
What's the definition, man?
I'm about to post it. Definition of science. I'll post it from Wikipedia.
Just look it up. You have like 5 or 6.
I'm gonna pair.
Yeah, we need it.
I'm gonna post it from Merriam-Webster. I can post it from different dictionaries or whatever. A knowledge or a system of knowledge covering general truths or the operation of general laws, especially as obtained through testing through scientific methods.
Are you skeptic?
Can you read?
I would never.
Can you read? Can you read English?
Listen. 1 second. Whenever Helio is, if someone decides to read from a definition or a source, it is not just you listening. There's more people listening. So allow him to finish whatever he's reading, and then whenever he's done, you can time in, not in the middle of reading.
The only reason I brought it up is because I want to read the definition and see if he agrees with me or not. So I just posted it there, and it says, there's 1A. With dictionaries, it goes this way. There's different definitions, but they all pretty much kind of say the same thing: a knowledge or a system of knowledge covering general truths or the operation of general laws, especially as obtained and tested through scientific method. Now, we can look that up later. Such knowledge or such a, this is 1B, such knowledge or such a system of knowledge concerned with the physical world and its phenomena, also called natural science. There's a just so you know, there's a colon there, and it says natural science, and you can click on that and get definition of natural science if you're curious about that.
How about hey, Globemaster, do you know the definition of pseudoscience? Will you read that for us? Pseudoscience, go ahead.
Yeah,
I would say flat. No, there's not even science.
Is that what the definition will say if we look it up? Can you look up?
No, I have no clue, guys. Come on.
Wait, are you in front of a PC? You can actually look this up. Dude, we can.
Yeah, why don't you go look it up?
It's already on the text. It's already on the live stream text. You can look at it.
Somebody already posted it. Yeah. So give us
that's the definition of science. But guys, why do you look up in a dictionary? Because the dictionary is made by people who are, how do you call it? They're linguistic.
I'll tell you what, Globemaster, if you think that's the only places we find our information from, you're sadly mistaken, bro.
No, I understand. I don't say
Where should we go to get the definition of science?
I would think what is more important is that you look at how do you do science, and then you would look at...
How can you do something you don't definition?
You don't even know do science. Nobody does science.
Of course you do.
Really? How do you do science? Tell me.
You don't
Well,
do science.
I'll shut up after this. I'm about to go smoke again anyway because this guy thinks you can do science. Anyway, it's weird.
Well, I was paid to do science and have people work for me to do science, so that helps.
Yeah, I can imagine that didn't turn out well.
You know,
what type of work of scientific scientific method? What kind of work you did and had other people doing for you as a organizer of the scientific experiment? What do you do?
Well, there are basically two very different ways of going about it. One is when you do really elementary science, and then you would probably go from sort of observation. You see something, and then you try to formulate a question, well, how could that happen, and form the question a little bit better. The next step is people then try to form an hypothesis. So could it be like this? And if it is so, then we try to make a prediction based on that hypothesis, and then we start to do tests.
All right, I get it.
Well, that would be one way, but I also did other ways. Simply when there was a lot of information available about how you would build a chip. I was, for instance, one of the first people in the world who probably built a cross-coupled CMOS calculator, a multiplier from 8 by 8 bits.
Building calculators is science. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, this is great. This is good. This is amazing. Okay, this is great. So using those same methods that you utilize to accomplish these things that you did in the past, who or which scientific method do you utilize to determine that the Earth is a spinning globe? Which method do you utilize? Can you describe it for us?
Yeah, and you will be disappointed.
Why did I get banned? I literally didn't even do anything.
Oh, you're here.
Hey, man, stop.
When I did, for instance, the work on cross-coupled CMOS, I was getting a task to model how these chips, or actually transistors, would work, and then I would have to make a model for what is called an AND gate and an OR gate. These are parts of two transistors combined that will do a certain task. And then I had to simulate it, so I got a computer, and with my simulations, I then figured out how fast we could make processors in the future. Now, I did this work in 1980, and it took more than 10 years that the first cross-coupled CMOS devices were introduced in television sets, etc. And how does science work? Well, people took my work and assumed that I did a good job. And from there, they continued. They did not need to do all the tests themselves again and again and again. Because
what does it have to do with the Earth being a spinning ball?
No, we're talking about science now, not the spinning ball.
Making models is not science.
He's trying to argue with the science method.
No, my man, he just asked you how you utilize the methodology to prove the Earth's a spinning ball.
So now we get to that point. Indeed, good question. Thank you.
Yeah,
what I do then is, as people believe what I did, they trusted in the work I did, and the result was you now find it in every fucking device, even your mobile, you will find cross-coupled CMOS, where I did the basic work for. Now, there are people who did work on globe, on measurements, on space, whatever. And at one point in time, like I trust the guy who designed the brakes in my car, I trust these guys because they did the study better than I did. And therefore, I trust them. Of course, sometimes I look critical at it and think, oh, whoa, is that really possible? And then I have to dive into it. But I have not been disappointed so far.
You know what the difference is? You can actually use what you did. You can use it in real life and prove its efficacy. So can you please show me how we can utilize the spinning globe in practical use case in real life, and it works.
Yeah, you won't believe in space travel, but that's one part of it, unfortunately.
I don't believe in the government stories where we need something that can be independently verified with empirical means. So whatever you invented, I can use, right? You said it's in my cell phone. I can prove it. I don't care what NASA says. They were founded by Nazis. We need actual empirical evidence. So is there any time that you can give us that would be verifiable?
I understand your question, but what if the guys who would said, hey, Goudsmith, you did work on cars called CMOS, but I don't believe you.
We could test to see if it works. I just explained the difference.
Yeah, but don't we have ESA or the Chinese space agency that also went up there? It's not NASA.
This question.
Oh, so another government.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. The guy that idiot you have.
You're an idiot.
Musk, SpaceX. He's not a government agency. He went up there.
SpaceX gets $500 million in grants per year from the government. Elon Musk is on record. You need to listen instead of being so impulsive. Elon Musk is on record saying that before he could ever go to space, he had to give over all of his computing to the top level over to the federal government for unimpeded access.
Whoa.
Try again.
Never read. No, I've never read that. No.
Well, now you learned something from the stupid flat earther. So the Elon Musk
I don't call you stupid because you are very clever. But do you have a link for that I can actually?
Sure, I'll give it to you in a second. It's an Elon Musk interview. He also is quoted as saying, "We would have never gotten to space without NASA." That's in an interview. Did you know that?
But that I can understand.
He said we could have never gotten to space without
NASA.
NASA.
No, I understand, because NASA wasn't that all based around Werner von Braun? Who was the first guy that actually got some fucking rockets into the air and bombarded London with it?
What's the relevance of this? You're talking about Werner von Braun, the Nazi?
A Nazi who built rockets, who shows that rockets work. Now, once you can get them from Norway all the way to England, the next step is bring them a bit higher, what North Korea is doing today. And you get higher and higher, and at one point in time you're above and out of, let's say, you'll never get out of the gravitational force of the Earth, of course, but you can create a speed by which you don't fall back anymore.
North Korea is known for pumping propaganda to brainwash people. Werner von Braun has admittedly been proven to have shown fake rocket propaganda to the German population. Did you know that?
Maybe he did, but in the meantime, he also shot rockets to London. And that is for sure.
Are you saying you can't shoot rockets to London on a flat Earth?
No, I don't say that.
Okay, so that doesn't help us. An SS.
That's where the basis is.
Listen, man, an SS officer of the Nazi regime who admittedly sent out fake propaganda films about rockets is the same guy that was brought over here by the U.S. government in Operation Paperclip and put in charge of the space exploration program, where they started telling us stories about rockets. So that's not a very credible source.
Was he a Nazi?
He was an SS officer.
Werner von Braun?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, bro. And by the way, on his tombstone, he has Psalms 19:1.
Yeah, I know, but that's...
that says the firmament.
I'm not religious. I put the same there.
I'm going to keep teaching you stuff, Globemaster. He also wrote a science fiction book in the 50s called Project Mars. And in the science fiction book, they found the first civilization ever on Mars. And the main character's title that does this is Elon.
Hey, I read here that Werner von Braun was arrested by the Gestapo.
Wait, what's that book again? What's the book's name again?
It's called Project Mars.
Project Mars.
He was an SS officer. I don't care.
I read it. He seems to be that, but he was also arrested, so he was not that very truthful to the Nazi party, was he?
He killed people as an SS officer and showed fake rocket propaganda. So if you want a virtue signal for an SS officer, go ahead.
No, the asshole did kill a lot of people in England, I'm for sure. Yes.
And he was notorious for lying about the very exact thing that he claimed to do later. So we don't believe him. He wrote a science fiction book in the 50s where Elon founds the first civilization in Mars. Do you think that he was a prophet?
Coincidence?
Because the guy is called Elon.
Do you think it's a coincidence that Elon?
Yeah, must be.
Pure coincidence.
Yeah, of course.
Did you know Elon Musk's grandfather was arrested for technocracy and found guilty and then appealed it and had to pay a $50 fine and is on quote saying he wants to replace the world's governments with artificial intelligence?
But a $50 fine must be a misdemeanor.
That was in the 30s. He was found guilty of technocracy. The point is that we don't trust people that want to take over the government with artificial intelligence. We don't blindly trust governmental agencies that are notorious for lying and working with Nazis. And we don't blindly trust SS officers that lied about rockets.
So you must also be absolutely opposing Trump.
I don't like Trump because he's a puppet in the government. So all this is non sequitur. Do you understand the major point? Globemaster, can I break this down for you, man? This is the point. If the Earth's a spinning globe, there's 1,000 different ways you could prove it. We don't need to appeal to the authority of fraudulent agencies within the government. There should be verifiable empirical means that you and I can both go test ourselves. Yeah. We know the government lies all the time. The government lies all the time. JFK is the one that said we were going to the moon. At the same time, the government proposed to JFK something called Operation Northwoods, where they were going to kill U.S. citizens and blame it on Cuba so we could go to war with them. Yeah. Okay, this is the same government that worked with Nazis, the same government that blew up our own ship and then claimed it was Vietnam so we could go to war with them. We don't believe in the government's stories. They admit they lie. Operation Mockingbird says they took over all the mainstream media to propagandize the public. In 2011 to 2012, there's something called the Smith-Munn Modernization Act, where they made it legal to propagandize and lie to U.S. citizens under Obama's administration. They also did MK Ultra, where they literally used different processes or different methodologies to brainwash people. In fact, they did this on the unsuspecting public, including college students, construction workers, without their knowledge, literally tried to brainwash them without them knowing. This is a very malevolent group of people that have no interest in doing what's best for you and will blatantly lie to you. Admittedly, we need to be able to verify it with real empirical evidence. So can we throw out the appeal to authority? That includes China, who literally have a social credit system and lie to their government, lie to their people about everything. This includes Israel, who lies about everything. We don't need world governments. We need empirical evidence. If the Earth's a globe that spins, we should be able to prove it ourselves. Don't you agree?
I agree with that. You forgot Watergate.
Yeah. There's a million things. We talk forever. What about
and the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq?
Exactly.
But there is this one thing they all have in common. They were exposed.
No, actually, most of the time they weren't exposed. They only classified the documents to the.
Yeah, but then they were exposed. Yeah,
like USS Liberty.
Yeah,
USS Liberty, where Israel blew up our ship and then they didn't get in trouble. 9/11 Globemaster, you need to understand, they didn't come out and admit it. They didn't get exposed. It took decades for these documents to come out because they can only be classified for roughly 5 decades. The Freedom of Information Act made them release them. So we didn't find out about MK Ultra until decades later. So they're lying to us right now, and they don't have to release the information for another 50 years, right?
Well, here in my country, it's 20 years.
What country is that?
It's a cool story.
The Netherlands. And we have for top secret, it's like 20 years, 25 years.
Okay, so that means that if they're lying to you right now, you're not going to know until like almost 2050. So,
yeah.
So wouldn't it be naive to think that all of a sudden they're not lying anymore when they've been lying the whole time?
That is true, but the so-called created lies about the Earth being a globe, well, we are way beyond 100 years of that, and they have apparently not been declassified. So I don't think that was really a conspiracy to hide the flat Earth from us.
Well, have you ever researched the moon landing? Because I'll tell you another bit of a history lesson, okay? So in 1945, we did Operation Paperclip. That's where we brought Nazi scientists over.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Operation Paperclip because we put paperclip in the files of the scientists we wanted to bring over here. In 1946, the year after that, we did something called Operation High Jump. That's where we sent Admiral Byrd, a well-decorated admiral for the U.S. military, to go explore Antarctica. He then came back after years of exploring, and he said, "It's astonishing to me that there's an area bigger than the continental U.S. on the other side of Antarctica that remains unexplored and no one knows about." Then, 2 years after giving that interview, he mysteriously died from heart complications. In between those 2 years, his son was found murdered in a warehouse. Then, right after that, he died in 57. In 58 and 59, they founded NASA and signed the Antarctic Treaty, which is the longest lasting peace treaty in human history. And every major world country has agreed that it's illegal for the general public to go explore that area. They founded NASA and signed the Antarctic Treaty within 1 year of each other. Then a couple of years later, in 1961, JFK came out and said, we're going to go to the moon in 8 years. Then in 1962, we did Operation Fishbowl, which was part of Operation Dominique, which translates to of the Lord. So it's literally Operation Fishbowl of the Lord. We sent high altitude missiles up and they kept on getting impeded and exploding at certain altitudes. They couldn't get past a certain point. Then we fast forward to 1968.
You're not jumping. I cannot answer all those things one by one.
You to answer them. I'm showing you the progress of what happened. They went and explored Antarctica. Listen, buddy, they went and explored Antarctica. Then they came back and said it's illegal for you to go there. Then they said we're going to the moon. Okay. And they lied about the moon. There was a person that was supposed to go to the moon. He came out and said that we're never going to go to the moon. We can't get to low Earth orbit. We can't communicate in our own buildings. He hung a lemon on the module. Then he mysteriously burned alive in a routine checking of wires on NASA facilities because the door was mysteriously locked from the outside and they accidentally pumped it full of oxygen. They replaced him, then miraculously went. The reason this is all important, dude, is because this is when they went to the moon in these moon missions. And in 1972, they took the first real picture of the globe from space. They did not claim to have another real picture of the Earth from space all the way up to 2015. If that moon mission was fake, when they supposedly proved it, which it provably was fake, then there was no real picture of the Earth. If you look for them now, they're all admittedly CGI. So where's this evidence that proves the Earth's a globe?
Well, you just passed it half an hour ago. Admiral Byrd, shall we start there?
Sure.
So this guy actually dropped the United Nations flag over the South Pole.
Okay, so have you actually verified the South Pole? In order to do that, we would need independent
exploration. He has a video, Admiral Byrd has a video, where he shows dropping the United Nations flag over the South Pole. Now, if you now look at where he landed and from where he started his expedition, yes, he is totally right. The amount of continent that is behind the farthest point he went is indeed bigger than the United States.
He said that it was vast, it was green, and that
it was not green. He doesn't say that.
He does say that.
I have the video. He doesn't say that.
Well, have you read his journal? Have you read his writings?
No, I've read the interview with him. I've seen
the classified documents.
And it's very simple. He doesn't say that.
Okay, he does in the
document. What he does say, they basically ask him, so you now have been to the two poles? And he says, yes, I did.
Okay, just so you understand, I wasn't appealing to the authority of Admiral Byrd. I'm explaining the progress of the government's operations and how they hid the truth from you. Okay, we don't believe high-level Masons named Admiral Byrd. He was a 33rd degree Mason. We don't care what he's got to say. In order to verify the South Pole, you would have to be able to privately explore. Then you would have to get a 90-degree zenith angle measurement from a supposed celestial pole matched with the geographic location.
Admiral Byrd also Freemason?
Bro, yes, Admiral Byrd was a Freemason.
Oh, well, they asked me to join, but I didn't, because I didn't believe in God, and you needed to
They asked me to join too, even though they're actually not supposed to recruit. Not the point, though, bro. Maybe you're kind of smart. They like to bring bright people in. That's a non sequitur. Do you understand that? Do you understand that if we could circumnavigate the Earth north to south, that would prove the Earth's a globe? That's never been done in the history of mankind.
Not so long ago they did.
Who did?
And these guys with this plane, come on, it was all over the internet and on the news. But the other one, there is one I'm an expert on. There was this atomic tests done somewhere. How do you call that test?
Operation Fishbowl, yeah.
Yeah, oh, what a joke. If you come up with that, you basically disprove the flat Earth.
We disproved the flat Earth because they shot high-altitude missiles up and couldn't get past certain altitudes. Did you know that the military also declassified documents from a Soviet scientist that said that...
Hold on. How high is the sun?
Listen, buddy, they declassified documents that say that they came up with an approximation.
I'm an expert.
I'm trying to teach you, man.
No, you can't teach me on what I'm an expert on.
You're not an expert on the approximation of the brightness of the firmament. They said they had an approximation method. They had
high-yield atomic explosions.
I'll just talk through you. They had an approximation method to determine the brightness of the firmament, and those approximation methods were proven accurate, declassified.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. There's also a declassified document called Electromagnetic Propagation over a Flat Earth, where they have ground weapon systems that shoot electromagnetic propagation. They have to assume the Earth's a dielectric plane.
Oh, God, you really only read half of the reports you actually get.
No, I read the whole report, buddy.
No, you did not. Or you did not understand them. But can we get back to Fishbowl? Please?
Can we get back to what?
Fishbowl.
Yeah, tell me how that debunks the flat Earth.
Okay, so the first thing, because Fishbowl, the argument is they basically hit the dome, and that's why they couldn't get any further.
I'm not even making that claim.
Oh, well, every Flat Earth channel I've seen Fishbowl being mentioned makes that claim.
Some people make that claim. Go ahead. Let's pretend I am.
No, I don't make the claim because I don't believe it.
I said some people do make that claim. Let's pretend I am. What's your point?
Okay. So, the sun and the moon are at what altitude? Approximately, if it is a real object or just a phenomenon, but we do have an indication of how high they are.
Yeah, just an apparent location. We don't have to claim how high it is, but the military utilizes it from 4,000 to 6,000 miles with a fluctuation in altitude. Next.
Great. Yeah, fine. I agree with you.
What's your point?
What was the highest altitude in Operation Fishbowl?
Like a few dozen miles.
400, 500?
Fake news.
No, that's it.
Yes. No, it's not.
That's not real. They didn't shoot them that high.
They did shoot them that high, and it's nothing because they didn't hit the dome because they were like 4,000 miles away from the dome because they were only, I said kilometers, so it's only 300 kilometers high. Operation Fishbowl.
I was waiting
kilometers. So okay, so now we've changed a lot from 400.
Yeah, that's the problem. Kilometers and miles. You guys should learn to work in kilometers.
Miles is much less than 400, buddy.
Hold on. I was waiting for you to mention the dome. I posted in the general chat the definition of the firmament from the 59 encyclopedia that describes the height of the firmament. I tagged you in it. Globe guy. Encyclopedia's definition of the firmament. I tagged you in the chat. I need you to go through it.
Yeah, Miguel Souza also posted a an excerpt from a CIA document where the Russians were testing the firmament. So yeah.
Come on, which one? I have one link here, but it doesn't work.
Operation Fishbowl is what you're referring to. The 200 nukes that were launched into the sky. The link hashtag Book of Killian. I tagged you in it, and it says.
Hold on, because who is who? I get so much. I have to look back, guy. Come on.
Yeah, we know it's a little bit too fast for you. We'll try to slow it down.
No, I'm not. I'm totally not looking at the voice text, so I have no clue where.
I'm going to go in right now. I'm going to get it again, and I'm going to DM it directly to you. And you can take yourself offline. You can consume it, whatever you need to do. But that is the 59 definition of the firmament that tells you all about the firmament as defined in the encyclopedia.
Yeah, can we get straight to the point here, though? Like, hey, buddy, let's see if you understand. Let's see if you're equipped for this conversation. Do you agree that if the radius value of the globe Earth is wrong, the entire model is wrong?
No, then they only have the radius wrong.
Well, let me explain to you why. So, night and day cycle use the radius. Gravity uses the radius. To go to any type of space exploration requires a radius so that you can get orbital trajectory. So you have to know the radius of orbit, needing the radius of the Earth. So everything within the model requires the radius value of the globe, including distances on the Earth.
No, I can do all without.
Oh, so how do you attain a radius of orbit without having the radius of Earth?
The radius. Hold on, guys. You have bombed me with information. You want me to look at it, and then somebody else comes with other information.
All right, let me help you, dude. So you just looking your DMs later, and now you answer his question now. That's it.
Yeah, I boiled it down to the most important subjects so that because I do feel we're bombarding you, and I can tell you're not really able to keep up. So, radius of Earth. Okay, this if you want to know if the Earth's a globe, you would either prove or falsify the radius of the globe because if the radius is wrong, the entire. I just told you why. Okay, every space story is not true.
Let him talk.
Every space story cannot be true because in order to go to space, you have to get a radius of orbit. Okay, that's the distance from you.
Hey, real quick, Globemaster. In order to stick around, you have to let people talk. Even though I just interrupted, I'm interrupting so that people can understand.
I want to go to bed.
Yeah,
you need to let people finish talking, especially when
you just sit there, you just munch on your knish, and you twiddle your thumbs and you listen. Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand why the radius has to be true?
No, I don't agree.
Do what?
Because if I would do, let's say, a timed camera observation of the star trails on the north and the south, and they turn the other way around,
wow!
I know at least that I'm not on a flat Earth. If the thing is exactly globe, a ball, or a pier, or whatever, I don't care. But it
Do you
shows.
know what a red herring fallacy is?
This is not a red herring. Because some of the work I did myself, especially the sun, because the sun is turning around people in the south of Chile.
Okay, so you're literally committing a red herring fallacy. Okay, we were talking about the radius of the Earth. Now look, I'm going to decapitate both your red herrings, and then we're going to go back to the radius of the Earth, okay? So every single star in the sky moves east to west. Clockwise and counterclockwise are directions relative to perception, not literal directions. If you're looking south, it will look different than if you're looking north. The sun moving in the sky in no way proves that the Earth's a ball. You would have to see 24-hour sun around the South Pole, which cannot be proven, only in the north. Now we're going to go back to the main point, which is the radius of the Earth. Do you know what they claim the radius of the Earth is?
It's not the red herring guy. Come on.
Red herring
I don't do red herring.
Diverting away from the subject, pretending that it's relevant. We're talking about the radius of the Earth. Do you know what the supposed radius of the Earth is?
6,300 kilometers, something like that.
300 kilometers? Not even close.
6,300.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, 3,959 miles, close to 6,000 kilometers. Correct. Now, we're going to test that number because if that number's not true, the entire model is wrong.
And now you'll come up with a fallacy, a straw man fallacy. Let me hear it.
Okay. There's no straw man. That's the globe Earth's radius claim. That's not a straw man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a straw man is when I'm pretending your argument is something that it's not. Objectively, your argument is that the Earth's a globe with a radius of 3,959 miles. So do you want to know how you test it?
How I test that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Measurements.
I have an idea. Hold on. I go and lie down when the sea is really calm. I go and lie down on the beach. And I look at the moment the sun just disappears behind the horizon. And then I jump up and I see the sun again. And I start my how do you call that, timer. And then when it disappears again, I use that time and then a very complicated formula. And the result is 6,300 kilometers.
Okay,
whoa.
That's incorrect. So for one,
That's not incorrect.
Did you hit your head as a child?
Listen, man, if you increase altitude over a flat surface, you can see further because of your angle of view. Okay,
No,
so
on a flat Earth.
no, this is objective. It's called angle of view.
No.
Okay, I'm glad we got that covered. Now we're going to go back to the radius. The way that you would prove the radius is you would take physical measurements of the surface because there's a geometric necessity that comes with the radius claim. That is the convexity of the surface. The Earth has to curve at a rate consistent with the radius value. That rate is 7.98 inches per mile squared up to 1,000 miles. Okay, so that means that it is 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, where you would see the physical geometric horizon or the Earth's curvature blocking your view. Are you with me?
No.
No.
No, you come up with a. How is this called in English? It's not a circle, but because you have a square in there, it means that you're not talking about a circle.
It's called Pythagorean theorem. I thought you were just bragging about how you were such a genius.
Sorry, hold on, genius. Pythagorean theorem works on a flat Earth, but not on a globe.
No. This is to test the globe. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, right?
No, it doesn't work on a globe.
It's a parabola. It works for up to 1,200 miles on the globe.
No? Where do you get that idea from?
The Earth's supposedly a sphere.
Yes.
Draw a line from the center to any point on the sphere, and then draw the tangent line, and then draw from the end of that tangent line back to the.
Somebody now posts a picture.
What kind of triangle is that? Too quick for you, eh?
No. Somebody now
posts third grade geometry.
A picture which comes from the Book of Robotham, Parallax.
No, this is, you can look it up yourself with Google. You type in Earth Curve Calculator.
Donato. Okay. Look at Donato, what he posted in chat right now.
Yeah.
Do you understand it?
Yes, I do understand that. So we have Walter Bislin's curve calculator, which is the best one.
Okay, cool.
Or the Metapunk one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then what you're going to find out is that it's going to tell you that the geometric horizon is at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet.
No, that's not what Walter Bislin is using, and probably Metapunk also doesn't
Okay,
use.
how about this? Use his calculator and type in 1 foot observer height.
Please learn to talk in meters, because meters are the world standard.
Okay, type in 3 meters.
Yeah, hold on. I need to find Walter Bislin's globe calculator. Walter.
Meters are founded on the faulty globe, and they didn't even get that right. So, no reason to use them.
Oh my God. Walter Bislin.
Oh my gravity.
What do I need to take? Observer height. How much meters?
Change it to feet.
No.
Okay, so then 0.3 meters.
0.3. That's very. That's only 30 centimeters, huh?
That's 1 foot, 0.3 meters. So.
Yeah. And then the target distance?
10 miles.
Yeah, how many meters are those? Because the mile is defined in meters, you know that. is not a meter is so many miles, but a mile is so many meters.
Wow, so that's something like, I think 16,000 meters.
Yeah, 16,000 meters. Okay, I've entered that. And now the target size.
The target height doesn't matter, so let's just say 20 feet.
20 feet, that's, you mean like 20 feet? Is that 6 meters?
Close enough, man.
Yeah. Okay. And now you want me to figure out what?
I want you to tell me where it says that the horizon is.
Let me see. The horizon. I need to find the horizon. Let me see. Come on, guys. Say that bilge.
It should be around like 2,000 meters.
No, when you're 0.3 meters high, it will be less than 3 kilometers.
Okay.
It must be.
Yeah,
because
that's my point.
Yeah.
You asked for it in meters. How many meters are in a kilometer?
Well, that's the fun about meters. A kilometer is says kilometer, so it's 1,000.
All right, we weren't sure you knew that. So
it's right around 2,000 meters. You're catching up.
Oh, okay. I have 16,000 meters, 2,000 meters.
Okay, yeah. So 16,000 meters is a mile. So it's just over a mile. It's 1.2 miles, or roughly.
2,000 meters is further than 1 mile, yes?
Yeah,
Physical.
just over 1 mile. Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Isn't it even? I use the imperial system, and I'm having to do
Yeah,
this
I know.
right now.
It's terrible. I can understand your problem, but,
It's okay. I forgive you. So
we spoon feed you.
We're gonna move on now.
At an angle, I'm trying to figure it out in his, because if I'm at 30 centimeters high, looking at the target at 2,000 meter, and the target is 6 meter, I will be able to see it.
But where will the horizon be, though?
Yeah, that's the problem. So nearest target date. Hold on. I'm going to take Metabunk as well.
Does it say target hidden height?
Metabunk. Oh, hold on. What is this? Target hidden height. Does he say that?
Or we need to know where the geometric horizon is.
Yeah. Basically, it's the horizon, but the problem is horizon data. Let's say dip angle, distance to the surf, distance from the eye. According to this, it would be at 1.955 meters. So it's almost at the 2,000 meters of where the target is. So therefore, the target.
I said the horizon, the curvature of the Earth should be around 1.2 miles.
Okay, let me see if I can somehow switch, because I do everything in meters. If he has here a...
Well, that's 1.6 kilometers.
As target distance.
No, the target distance we already changed. We said 10 miles. The curvature of the Earth, the geometric horizon, would be at 1.6 kilometers. Just over
that. That's what I just said. I said, no, 1.6. It says here still 1.9. When I'm
1.9. Remember I told you 2,000 roughly, because I did the math in my head, and I'm still waiting for you to keep up, because it's actually 1.2 miles. You remember that? I said 2,000 and you argued it. Now you're saying it's 1,900. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It says the distance from the eye would be 1.9 thousand
kilometers.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, now, so that means if I make an observation 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, the curvature of the Earth should be at 1.2 miles. Right.
Which would be 1.9 meters, yeah.
1.9 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not meters, kilometers. Okay, so if we see the horizon is over 10 miles away, that would debunk the globe because it has to be no further than 1.2 miles.
That's where you go wrong.
Okay, enlighten me.
Yes, there is a very complicated formula, but people have actually calculated that if the whole globe, we believe in a globe, you believe flat Earth, but if the whole globe would have a constant temperature gradient, which doesn't exist because when you move from Europe to Asia, back all over the ocean to the United States, you have so many things that influence this temperature that the whole idea doesn't work. But theoretically, if that would be a constant, then you could see the back of your head. There is
my God.
Yeah, there is a temperature gradient, and it involves a lot of calculus. And to be honest,
saying that we should be able to see the back of our head around a 25,000 mile circumference globe.
Right.
That's a coefficient of two. That's a coefficient of 2 or more. That is insanity.
That's not insanity, and actually, the calculus. But I'm very bad at calculus, so I immediately say that. But people have done that. But the fun thing about Walter Bislin's calculator is you can also add some refraction. At the moment, we were talking about something without a zero refraction.
Okay, let's add refraction. Walter Bislin uses 7/6R terrestrial refraction.
Yeah, I just pushed the button standard.
Yeah, standard refraction is 7/6R, which would push the horizon to 1.32 miles. That's not over 10 miles, is it?
No, but then you would have to show me something that goes like 10 miles.
Okay, someone dropped the black swan. I'm glad we finally got here. So we have an observation 1 foot off the surface of the Earth in California, where we see that the curvature of the Earth is not at 1.2 miles, but rather over 10 miles away behind the oil rigs, which are over 10 miles from the observer. Therefore, debunking.
Oh, no, not that one. Come on.
I'm sorry you don't like it. I'm sorry you don't like it.
No. It has nothing to do with
lots of other.
You can simply look at the picture, and you see it's totally deformed. The left
Where's
one.
the horizon? Where's the horizon?
It's of no interest because apparently we have to deal here with something that is a very rare occasion.
Where's the horizon?
The horizon is beyond the first platform, I believe.
Do you agree on a globe?
Beyond the other one, but that's not sure because there was something like an island behind that as well.
No, it's very obvious that it's behind the second one because the oil rig blocks that part of the horizon. So do you agree that on the globe that the curvature of the Earth is in front of the first oil rig?
What I can tell you is that the deformation of the left oil rig is so big that you cannot make any claims.
We're not talking about the oil rigs. No one's making claims about the oil rig.
It's all about the oil rig because it shows that the whole picture is deformed.
Not about the oil rigs at all. They're just used as a demarcation of distance. We are talking about the horizon. Do you agree that the curvature of the Earth should be in front of the closest oil rig?
It is if you use the pictures made at a normal day without extensive refraction.
Why can't you answer a closed-ended question? Based on the globe Earth math, should the curvature of the Earth be in front of? Well, we just did the math, and it said.
No, you did not do the math because you show me a picture where apparently the refraction is way beyond the standard value.
Yeah, way beyond it. Like
way. Yeah,
really,
way beyond it.
Yeah, that doesn't work. That's not reality. You just claim.
Do you see the crane on the left side of the left platform?
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
No, that's not irrelevant. Come on.
We're talking about the curvature of the Earth. Hey, how about this? Where's the curvature of the Earth in the picture?
In this picture, I can't say nothing because the picture is deformed. You will have to show me a picture where the left platform is not distorted, and then I can tell you.
Okay,
Show
here
me
you go. Look
it's
at
not
the
deformed.
picture. Look at the other picture that's not distorted in infrared. Uh-oh, here's a picture of mountains in infrared. So there's no distortion. It cuts out most of refraction because it's in infrared.
Different picture, different case. Come up with a point.
Well, you got destroyed on the first one. Look, just
no, you cannot destroy me at all. You just proved pseudoscience.
You vaguely appealed to the math that you didn't understand, and then I teach you the math, and now you're trying to say you can't see the curvature of the Earth in the picture.
There is no curvature in this picture because it's a deformed picture. Show me.
No. You just admitted that standard refraction would only extend the horizon only 1.32 miles.
I asked politely.
You got destroyed.
Politely, give me the same view, the two rigs next to each other, without any deformation of the left one.
Yeah.
Then I show you the curve. Then I show you the horizon.
The distortion of the oil rigs are not relevant, bro.
They are totally relevant because
you see 6 times further than you're supposed to.
No, it shows that the whole picture cannot be trusted.
6 times farther than, at least, even more than you're supposed to.
I just told you.
And you're trying to say it's because of refraction.
I told you that refraction can make you see the back of your head on the globe Earth. Only it's a bit.
6 times.
So anything that moves up a little bit higher than usual is just an anomaly, but it's not exceptional.
Blah, blah, blah. You can't explain why it's like 6 or 7 times further. Sorry, Dre's.
Sorry, it's now 4:30. I go to bed.
Hey. You are not an expert on refraction. You are not the arbiter of it. And you're not going to sit here and tell us we can see the back of our head through it.
Yes, we can, and you can find that on the.
No, you are not.
I'm not going to do that now. Maybe tomorrow.
You can't do it.
You already told us earlier that infrared refracts more than visible light.
Yes, and I'm now sure it did because the fallacy that was given here was a fallacy. I corrected that later
on. You gave the fallacies.
It was a total fallacy. I've showed it.
Yes, your argument is a total fallacy. We get it.
No. Distortion cannot be a fallacy. A distortion simply means you can't trust what you're looking at because it is distorted.
How the hell did you distort something 7 times the distance?
Listen, I know
Are you high?
No, I know there are pictures.
Some of the fumes are coming from the coffee shop or something?
Third time you interrupt me. I know.
Oh, yeah. This is maybe the 6 millionth time you've interrupted us.
Time? 5th time. So, I know I have seen them.
Tissue, blow your nose.
I have seen pictures.
That's such a cool story. Now explain the Black Swan picture.
Which one? The picture you have has nothing to do with atmosphere.
We're not talking about atmosphere. We're talking about you can see 7 times further than you're supposed to on the globe.
Oh, now come on, guys.
Yeah.
There are 2 people.
Yeah, we've said that several times.
Yeah, globemaster. Also, my picture has nothing to do with the atmosphere because that is not my claim. I am showing you how refraction works because your claim is antithetical to how actually refraction works.
No, you don't understand. Guys, sorry.
I showed you an example how it works. You showed me a stock image of some random cartoons. Has nothing to do with how refraction works.
What did I do? Show you stock images? Did I send you
a stock image of a cartoon earlier?
Which one?
Have you forgotten what you did earlier?
No, I only sent you one that showed you why red light doesn't.
Where you think
I only sent
frequencies of light refract more than high frequencies?
It has not to do with the light. Yes, red light is very simple because that's why when the sun sets, the last color we see is red. That means all the colors have disappeared.
Yeah. Do you know why
the last one, which therefore,
do you think that is due to refraction?
That's the only reason. Yes.
No.
Yes, and you may say
it's called Rayleigh scattering. And it's when the
you have no idea what radic scattering is.
In wavelengths until eventually it scatters out of the visible wavelength.
Hey, let me try one more thing with this guy. Since you can't be intellectually honest about anything that anyone's saying, look in the voice text. Look in the voice text, please.
Yes.
Okay, you're blaming it on distortion, right? Okay, these are mountains from 255 miles away. Based on the globe Earth math, the top of that mountain in the back should be obstructed by over a mile of Earth curvature above it. There should be 3 vertical miles of Earth curvature blocking these mountains. How come we can see the mountains all the way to the shore, please?
Refraction.
How's it refraction? We used infrared. Try again.
Because infrared adheres to refraction as well.
So there's refraction in the infrared picture?
In everything that has visible light, doesn't even radio signals, everything suffers from refraction.
Yeah, but infrared drastically cuts down refraction. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree.
So it doesn't cut down refraction. So let me just finish for you. Just so you know, your claim is completely absurd. This is an infrared picture of mountains 255 miles away based on a radius of 3959. There should be 3 miles of Earth curvature blocking these mountains. That means you're claiming that with an infrared picture, the mountains are being lifted up 3 miles vertically and then stopping directly eye level. Horizontally and showing us the shoreline. You are an insane person.
No, because that's not the case in that picture.
Yeah, whatever you tell yourself, dude. But we own you now.
May I look into that tomorrow? Come back on it.
Miguel Sousa. Quick question. It's just so quick, I can't even believe it. So we can't see Earth curvature using a regular lens or a P1000 or even now infrared. So where can we see the curvature now, Mister? Because we can't use any kind of optics. So where can we see the Earth curvature finally?
Thinking to see a curvature is I'm not going to say it. The horizon is the curvature, and Miguel Sousa shows the 2 rigs, but he shows it from above. Please show there are pictures where you see both rigs. So the black swan thing.
You've already admitted we don't see curvature in the horizon with your inane refraction argument.
The horizon is where the curvature for you starts.
If that were true, it'd be at 1.2 miles in the picture with the oil rigs you're talking about. But
no,
it's not,
the oil rigs is a deformed picture. You cannot use it. You have to have.
Just go pray to your.
I'm just asking, what kind of camera do we need to get out to get that Earth curvature, partner? What kind of camera do we need?
Any camera, as long as you do not do it at the moment there is this extreme temperature difference between the water and the air, so that you get a distorted picture. You can use a focus length of 50. If you have like 32 megapixels, I can zoom in on the picture and I have the same effect that when I have an 8 megapixel camera with 900.
You're completely talking off your ass. You have no idea what you're talking about. You can't explain why we can see 7 times further than we're supposed to, and you don't know anything about it.
Because
you're just a clueless moron who doesn't understand.
Yes, thank you very much.
You do the math in your own system of metrics. You're done. You've been exposed.
You are totally right.
We know you're an idiot. Okay, you're not fooling anyone.
I come up with a picture of the black swan.
Yeah, you can come up with whatever fantasy you want, but we own you now.
No, you don't.
You got flat Earth tattoo on your ass. You're gonna remember this for the rest of your life.
I love you guys, really.
Yeah, we love you too.
Hope you guys don't wake up to too many flat Earth nightmares, man. You got destroyed and exposed.
But guys, we have still 2 open questions, huh?
No, you've been.
Yeah, where's the Earth curvature?
No, I haven't been destroyed. Our beach in Australia with the sun.
Your father was right about you.
But where the sun rises in the southwest, basically above the ice wall.
Before you go into some new fantasy, check.
It's not new. That's the one I started with.
It is new.
Hey, I'm talking.
No, I'm now quit because you're insulting.
Shut up. All right,
before you go on, we had a PhD in spectrophotometry do hundreds of laser tests at all times of day throughout the year. And he's been doing it for now a few years, and he's offered like hundreds of people to come and try it with him. And and test it out, and it does not support your side. He tried to debunk us, only to confirm what we're saying.
Oh, like a baby, he turned off his audio. What an absolute moron. Dunning-Kruger incarnate.
Yeah, without Earth curve, there's no globe, and without that, there's no terrestrial refraction that he uses to reify the globe. There's nothing but stories all the way down. He's not hearing this though, so
Yeah, he's listening through YouTube.
He wouldn't hear it if he was undeafened anyway.
He's listening through YouTube. He can't not listen.
Real quick, was I out of line for asking the question, hey, which camera lets us see Earth curve?
Nah, bro, that was a good question.
I'm going to do it once more for the audience. Audience, listen. That man just said that so regular cameras don't work to see Earth curvature. Stuff like P1000s don't work to see Earth curvature because infrared photography from the tops of mountains or anywhere, right? He says infrared doesn't work because of refraction. Wow! So what kind of camera does a human need to get or build to be able to see the Earth's completely obvious curvature?
Yeah, and how did Al-Biruni get his hands on it in the 10th century?
I think he really did the globe side a disservice just now. I hope everybody was paying attention.
Yeah,
they were. His superiors were.
Yeah,
here's this thing that we know exists because we never see it, but we have lots of excuses for why we never see it.
Yeah. I really love Al-Biruni because he looked at this mountain, got his sextant out, assumed the earth was flat, then walked a little bit closer, looked at the mountain again through his sextant, assumed the earth is flat, and got a height for the mountain. Then he climbed the mountain, looked at the horizon, and assumed the earth was a ball. That's the kind of people we're dealing with.
Yeah, using flat plane geometry to prove a ball. Smart thinking.
Hello? Why did it go quiet?
We're waiting for that guy to dry off his tears, put on his big boy pants, and get in here. Or whatever else he's doing right now. But I think we have other new people in here we could talk today, because that guy's just here to waste time.
Hey, let's just assume everyone here's a flat earther, right? And we know that, like, the government and all that, they're lying to us, okay? So what's our next step? You know, like, in... Like,
so who can tell me
everyone about the flat earth, or, like, you know, take the government down? Like, what's in it for us?
Who can tell me about the Walter Bislin curve calculator? It's got so many R's in it in the calculation I just about fell over. Doesn't it? Is it assume the globe? Is that what that's all about?
What you mean that what's in it for us, man? All we're here to help people understand or see the truth. That's all we're here for, man. We're not here to take no government down. We're not here to do anything. The government's always going to exist, regardless of what we do. It's just nonsense.
Like, what do you think the government's hiding by, you know, presenting a heliocentric model?
Oh man, more land, all kinds of stuff. But your answer is the next step is that you accept that the Earth is geocentric because it's stationary, which means it was designed and created. So you should acknowledge that there's a creator, which means there's moral accountability. And you should just become a man and be moral and stand for the defenseless and do what's right and start to enjoy life free of mental bondage. That's what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have any Globers in the chat?
So he goes, sorry, I got to do something. Never mind.
Man, the Globers, they hate the black swans so much. They even make up their own definition for Horizon too. Like, they make up so much. It's crazy.
He says you can see the Earth curve in the horizon, and the very next thing he does is start making excuses for why you can't see Earth curve in the horizon. Just total, like, mental illness.
Is anyone here from Matthew lately? Oh, sorry, Koso, were you saying something?
No. I was just wanting to know who this globemaster was. I got here a little bit late in the show, so I was just wondering who this dude was.
Yeah, I mean, he's new, ostensibly, but he's not really new. You can check out the locker room if you want more info.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, Globemaster was a truth seeker and a friend of mine, but
I'm sure he was a friend of yours.
Yeah, did you hear the truth that he was laying down?
Well, it was hard for me to hear the truth when I was in cognitive dissonance.
You can still listen to him.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Why? You can still listen, right?
Kind of, but I just stepped away from the computer.
So, like, you couldn't handle, like, your ego being shattered by being put into cognitive dissonance, so you couldn't listen to us?
Well, I got banned for saying we're all truth seekers.
I mean, that's not why you actually got banned.
Yes, it is. That's why I got banned.
It's been because of your repeat performances here over the last week or so. So where are these usual suspects? How come we're getting like a new like Shield Team 6 every day now? It's like, what happened to the old mainstays like Matthew? I saw Matthew was on earlier today. You guys...
He started lying, and Dre said that he was going to ban him if he was just going to lie, so he left. He'd rather leave than,
Yeah, then he just starts ad homing everybody and putting down any kind of thought. Yeah.
Matthew's ad homing people?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, he's cracking.
Cracking.
I thought that was interesting that he'd rather leave than not lie, though, given that choice.
I guess that.
Well, he wasn't lying. They were just going to
He was lying.
disagree with him.
No, he was already.
No, he was lying.
Well, it's like, hey, when we bring up the Black Swan argument, I've seen that before. I understand it. When they start explaining, they don't even know what they're not even saying. They're not even talking about the same thing we're talking about. You know?
No, they're not. They still don't understand it. If they're talking about the bendy cranes, the freaking anything above the horizon, we don't care about. They don't get that still after what, 2 years?
It's like, hey, man, I used to think the Earth was a globe, and then I'll say, here's what I don't understand about the heliocentric model. Just like I was going over with homeboy that was here earlier, about the tilted Earth and the elliptical orbit and shit, and he didn't understand what I was saying. Like, no, this is what they say about the solar system. He's like, no, they don't. I'm like, yes, they do. And he just kept arguing with me. I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Because they actually don't say that about that. You could get Matthew in here and everybody from NASA in here, and they'll tell you the same exact thing that I said about, the solar system.
I just love that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love that Matthew's cracking finally. It's like he's actually is human. There's a limit to his training or whatever. His like robotic persona. It's reassuring in a way.
Have you ever gotten one of them to actually walk you through what Bendy Crane does to fix the problem with their horizon?
No,
tie those things together for me.
Not even the argument. Bendy cranes aren't even the argument in the first place. I mean, so that's really kind of a distraction. If you're talking about the Black Swan,
of course not. It has nothing to do with the horizon at all. So I just think it's really funny to put them on the ropes and get them to try to explain where's the connection. Okay, Bendy Crane.
Didn't waste any time on that.
My ball looks 6 times the size I think Jupiter is. Please, draw the connection here for me. I'm not seeing it.
Refraction.
This weekend we're gonna have a planetary alignment this weekend. I think it's Sunday. Mercury, Venus, Earth, not Earth because we live on Earth. So Mercury, Venus, Moon, Saturn, and Jupiter all lined up on the horizon. You'll have to be in a certain place to look at it, but yeah, it's gonna happen this weekend.
Yeah, is Witsit Gets It still here?
They're gonna say the globe predicted that.
Well,
hello.
Sure, this is an explanation. I mean, sure. That's why I was asking homeboy, do you actually understand the solar system that you're trying to describe? And I proved that he didn't understand shit about it. So anyway. Yeah, Witsit, are you still here?
I'm about to get out of here. See someone say my name. What's up?
Yeah, I just want to ask you, what actually got you into the whole flat Earth thing? Like, what triggered you into looking into it?
I heard the rapper B.O.B. say the Earth was flat, and he had said 20 other conspiracies I'd already proven. So I'm like, that sounds crazy, but I guess I'll look into it because I told all my friends to listen to it. They want to look crazy, and yeah, I knew the moon landing was fake. I found out that was the supposed real picture of the Earth, that the only one that existed. I'm like, whoa, something's here. And then yeah, 7 years later, I've done my own observations and stuff, but I heard about it through B.O.B. the rapper.
Fair enough.
Yo, when you get a minute, check your DMs if you would, please.
All right, but yeah, just like what actually got me like officially a flat earther was observations, long distance observations that are impossible on the globe, and yeah, man, figuring out there's no real picture of the Earth from space. I mean, we got a problem. All right.
Sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I'll check my DMs, man. I'm about to go play a game with Kai, but I'll check them, bro. I'll catch up with you guys later.
You guys
See you,
doing some
brother.
more trivia
Alrighty,
soon?
thanks.
Hey, Witsit, you doing some more trivia soon?
Yeah, probably. We'll probably do that game with
Oh, I love that. I love that stream. You saw me in the shit.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, we'll do a couple more.
Yeah, I watched it too. It was fun. Fun to watch it.
Sweet. All right, man. I'll catch up with you guys later. Peace.
All right. Peace, brother.
First flat.
Hey, you're still.
So, do you guys think I deserve to be Gold Plus?
Gold Plus in what respect? Like here? Or like in your daycare or where?
In here. Like an OG.
If there was a ranking for trolls, I think you might be a valued troll. I don't think you'd be gold because you don't put enough effort into it.
I mean, roles as far as moderator.